It's time, and it's time to claim one more team, one more ticket to World Championships. And whether it's going to be the boys in JLINGZ or do the Chiefs have some sort of sign? Is it like a C? Do we do something special for that? Either way, we're going to find out. We're going to follow this JLINGZ story to conclusion and take a look at the series layout as well. What way is this one going to shake out? Because when I look at the series layout, Dan, and I look at these two teams, I think Chiefs would be happy to play JLINGZ, and very much the same story on the other side of things.
I mean, at this point, it looks like JLINGZ have hired us to cast all their games today. Yeah. That is not true, and I'm not biased. I would love to see Chiefs have a really good game at this. You've got to remember, this Chiefs team, or at least 3/4 of it, were the first ANZ team to actually take down a European team at a major event way back when in Rally, and now you've got a chance to make history once again, make the World Championships, take down a side like JLINGZ. You heard what Respectful said on that analyst couch, whatever we're going to blum and call it. He thinks that Chiefs have a really good shot here, and JLINGZ, they cannot underestimate them. They have to take this completely seriously. Yes, okay, Chiefs have been a little bit of a cakewalk for other teams previously, but I think they look a little bit stronger at this event. They really look like they've knuckled down, and I'm very excited for this series.
When you speak about us getting hired by JLINGZ, do you reckon that we would just send invoices to jesselingard@hotmail.com and hope that it lands in the right place? Do you think that's what we do?
I mean, surely that's definitely the email at that point. Or he has something like, I want to be a footballer at gmail.com. Like, it was like, you know, something you created when you were 12, and now it still lives on, and you still have to use it to sign up to things. Anyway, we are going to get right into this series. It is going to be JLINGZ versus Chiefs. It is for a spot in the World Championships. It's the elimination bracket of the play-ins. Who's going to make it? Is it going to be the European giants of JLINGZ or the best of ANZ, the Chiefs?
The kings of ANZ, the 4th seeded team in Europe, and JLINGZ. They come into this tournament as the 3rd seeded team, of course. We're about to find out which one of them is going to punch their ticket, because somebody's going home at the end of this.
Someone's going home, and someone's going to stay in the venue for tomorrow. No sleep, all practice, get ready for the World Championships. It's a great start from JLINGZ, already getting 3 kills on the board. Berserk, the last remaining player, and they are going to be scoring straight away. This is the perfect start for the boys in red.
Eat, sleep, Halo, repeat. Morgan, what can he do? What can the boys in blue do? That's the question. And for Beast, he stepped out a little bit too far and he paid. Over shield out for Slay. Slays will get the kill, and indeed possession of the heat wave will pass over. But so much score on the board already for JLINGZ in this opening hill. Now, if the Chiefs were to make one more mistake, one more error, JLINGZ will capitalize on it and take the lead. 2 players do go down. Slays and Berserk waiting to see if Madzi and Beast can hold on. Quell this push for the moment. They're getting tagged up every which way, but somehow, some way, they survive.
Yeah, they did really well to actually fight off the incoming barrage from Chiefs, but now here comes the supporting party. Ooh. Slays manages to take down Cordios, but Flux was behind them. Manages to get close to a triple, but 3 big kills to probably secure this point for JLINGZ, but he's just got to be careful. Needs some help from the rest of the team.
Steps out for a moment. Back in he goes. And it looks as though the play is going to be made here for the Chiefs to give this one up and set up for the second hill. With Flux, Heatwave in the back pocket. They've set up now. Now the ANZ boys. Beast getting tagged up though. Berserk's going to go down. And his teammate follows him. Quadios picks up a double in the feed. Flux hasn't had to do much work at the moment, but Overshield about to pop up, and you can see Madzi is fully aware of that. He's been eliminated though. The Chiefs, it's disjointed and not able to put anything together. The 3 dead once again. Overshield is well and truly going to jump into JLINGZ's back pocket here. Beast desperately trying to stay alive when the scoreboard done so long enough, but the writing was on the wall.
Yeah, it's disjointed from Chiefs, but I think that's because JLINGZ are kind of ripping them apart at the moment. This is what I would have expected when I look at this series on paper. I do think that JLINGZ are the better side. That, again, is no disrespect to Chiefs. I think that they are an amazing set of players, and I really hope they can make a really good game of this, a really good series of this. But when JLINGZ get firing, you'd imagine they should be able to kind of accomplish a victory relatively easily when they're at the best. But they did struggle previously in the series that we saw on earlier today, whereas Chiefs have looked hot, they've looked fired up, they've looked ready, but they find themselves 2-0 down.
On board with Septic now. And again, they've given up that second hill. It didn't work out the first time around, but perhaps try and try again. They've set up here now in Garage. First pick going to be oh so important. And the Berserk set up over towards the window. He's not long for this world. His teammate Madzi follows suit. see the final two remaining members also go down for the Chiefs, and it doesn't look difficult for JLINGZ when they push in there.
It doesn't, and considering King of the Hill has been a pretty weak game type for them so far in the play-ins tournament, it's worrying signs for Chiefs, certainly. Still time, though, to get back into it. 4 minutes and 11 on the clock. JLINGZ just checking their P's and Q's at the moment, making sure they're watching every single angle. It seems like wherever Chiefs push from, there's always a grenade waiting, or there's someone waiting with a weapon just to take them down quickly and effectively.
Great game sense and awareness out of JLINGZ. Know the push was coming from scoreboard. To step out, just bait the hill and throw grenades in, and they're happy to do that. They have a 2-0 lead. And they've put down enough scoring here to ensure the Chiefs are going to have a rough ride of it to secure this third hill. They have got control. They have got the heat wave. And perhaps some hope. Need to start finding some shots, though. Morgan desperately tries to scamper away, but runs straight into Mancy. Septic's picked up the overshield. Flux is in a fight, and 4 dead again for the Chiefs. Overshield and heat wave in the hands of the Englishman Septic.
Sometimes it's the hope that gets you. You think you've managed to secure the hill, you think managing to get a point, and then you look across and you see the overshield's just spawned and Septic pumping it into his chest. And now he's not only got the overshield, but the heat wave, as you say, and he can really get aggressive, look to try and push this advantage. It's going to be a double, it's going to be a triple, and he says, you know what, give me some more, but he whiffs on the 4th, and unfortunately it was a dismal end to what could have been a brilliant play.
JLINGZ Episode 1, No Hope seems to be the title of this movie, and the Chiefs are struggling. And with plays like that coming out of Septic, it's going to make it even more difficult. Morgan getting in a brawl, getting a scramble, slaps the taste out of Berserk's mouth. They keep stepping in though, baiting the Chiefs. 3 dead once more, and every single time it's the Chiefs desperately trying to scamper across, get close to them. But JLINGZ had them on strings.
Dare I say it looks like JLINGZ are having a little bit of fun in this game, and that's not a good sign for Chiefs whatsoever. If JLINGZ are feeling comfortable, if they're feeling confident, they are going to play twice as good as if they were a little bit rattled and worried about their performance and worried about their chances of getting into Worlds. As Quad will get yet another and add that to his tally. Remember the series that Quad had against SSG earlier? He looked phenomenal. 13 kills for him right now. And it's just one more hill required for JLINGZ to win this one 4-0.
JLINGZ will count themselves a little bit unlucky to be in this situation in the first place. They were so close to getting through on the winner's side. Madsy though, this is better for the Chiefs. Flux is in the respawn screen, but again, Madsy goes down along with Berserk, and that opens the door once more. Septic trying to secure the overshield to boot. Quadios is going to be on hand, steps it up, picks it up. Heatwave down there too if he chooses to use it. 7 shots to use. Resources have been split though. JLINGZ are in the hill, half the overshield left to use and to work with. Berserk in garage will get taken down to no shields and then out of the equation. But again, you can see numbers more often than not are favoring JLINGZ.
They are, and it's down to just kind of individual performances from everyone stepping up. Quad I've been impressed with. Like, as the year's gone on, Quad I think has got better and better. When this team kind of first ever formed, and I remember it was the boys and then it was the lads, and they got absolutely decimated in Rally back in the day, and then they made changes and they've just gone from strength to strength. And really a world championship spot would be absolutely everything that these boys would certainly have hoped and wished for. They have to get through a very difficult Chiefs roster first. And it doesn't look as difficult as maybe it could have been from the Chiefs side so far in this first game, but it does sometimes come down to a series layout. Sometimes there is going to be bad game types, that's for sure, and maybe we've just landed on one that isn't quite the hometown of Chiefs.
JLINGZ looking comfortable though. Morgan, Flux, they're watching their teammates battle it out here for this hill over by the overshield. Perhaps this is time for Chiefs to put one on the board, apply some sort of pressure. Perhaps JLINGZ will give it up. They're ever so close to it. Slays isn't there though, and JLINGZ take control once more. And is that indicative of how this series is going to go for the Chiefs? Always so close, but never quite able to get the job done.
Surely you don't allow JLINGZ to get this one. Surely they don't pip this one right in the final moment. Slays the last remaining player, and somehow Chiefs do not get the point on the board. JLINGZ steal it away, and it is a very, very impressive 4-0 performance from JLINGZ there. A disappointing one on the side of Chiefs. I know they won't be happy with it. They would have wanted to have more of a contest in map number 1, but you can forget about it. You can move on to map number 2, and I'm expecting Chiefs to respond as we go further into this series.
We have seen the Chiefs start a little bit slow when it comes to series, and we have seen them grow in confidence. And it wasn't until Game 3 and what we've seen them earlier on where they started to pick up the pace in that stronghold game type. And perhaps they're a team that starts off slow, but against the caliber of teams they're playing against, you can't afford to give up maps here and there so willy-nilly.
And again, it comes down to, you know, who have you practiced against? Do you know JLINGZ? Have you studied JLINGZ? You should have coming into this event, but sometimes you have to adapt to other teams' playstyles. And Chiefs maybe start slow because they're like, oh, we're not used to how the European teams are playing or how the NA teams are playing. But once they start to realize and they get further in the series, they start to work them out a little bit and they start to be able to actually contest. So hopefully as the series goes on, we will see closer games between these two teams because I really do respect every single member on both sides of the stage, actually. This is a very exciting game and I will be feeling very bad for which team does not make it to the World Championships.
Yeah, it's definitely a situation where we don't want to send either one of these teams home. The JLINGZ boys are close to our hearts, but the Chiefs, they feel like friendly neighbours as well. And we're always wanting that region to do well, to thrive. And there's been signs that when Barcode was there, that they could come over here and contest and play against some of the big dogs. And there is an adjustment period they're going through where they have to almost trust the process and realise that it's not going to come quickly. Maybe these 4 lads, maybe they can do it here. And maybe they can qualify against JLINGZ, but they have to pick it up now.
And sometimes it does take reps, and sometimes it's not as simple as just taking months. It can take years. It could be not until HGS Season 2 that we see like a real true ANZ challenge that comes through and makes a difference. As Quad gets a big double kill to start with. It wouldn't feel like a World Championship without an ANZ team featuring to me, and I know we're at play-ins and it kind of is the World Championships. Hopefully now Chiefs can show us what they're made of, but unfortunately it's 6-0 already. And Quad's got his hand on the weapon you don't really want him to have in his hands.
When you said maybe this is what we're gonna see Chiefs showing us what they're made of, I really hope this isn't what the Chiefs are made of and they can pick it up as the game goes on. But already down by 6 kills and a lot of work to be done. Quadios got 4 kills, 1 away from a killing spree. Manti back tower, recognizing the push is coming his way. The pressure is on that cafe side. They have got Septic all alone and towards Arcade. Maybe that's something that the Chiefs can exploit, but unfortunately Berserk has been picked off. Manti's over the cafe. Bulldog in the hands of Quad. Pops the shields, will finally secure the kill and lock in that killing spree.
Quad's having a field day at the moment. Still connects with that final bullet somehow. It's almost like it bounced off the wall, Matrix style. Still a 6-kill advantage. At least Chiefs haven't allowed this one to get too out of hand. It could have been much worse. JLINGZ just need to make sure they don't get too ahead of themselves and start to push unnecessarily and make silly mistakes because they think they are in a similar situation to what Ascend did earlier. You think the game's done, you think you're just comfortably winning, and then that's when you start to make very silly decisions that will allow the other team to get back into the game.
It is time to warn off complacency for JLINGZ. For the Chiefs, they are down by 8. Rocket's about to pop up, and that could be an avenue they look to explore to get themselves right back into this game and indeed the series. Manti in Arcade, Beast on rails. JLINGZ are playing this expertly, baiting and switching. Flux and Morgan combined to take down 2 members of the Chiefs. Manti and Beast currently sitting on 1 kill, 1 assist and 5 deaths, and it's not going great elsewhere either. Slays with 3, Berserk with 3, 5 deaths and 4 respectively. All the stats categories, all the columns not going in their favor. And there's something that you said in game 1 that's ringing through, is that maybe JLINGZ are having a bit of fun with this one.
Yeah, sometimes you do just have to call a spade, and I think that JLINGZ are just 1 step above the Chiefs. As much as I can talk about the respect I have for all of the players from the ANZ region and this Chiefs roster, I do think that JLINGZ are just 1 tier ahead of them. And unfortunately, it may just be as far as Chiefs can go if they cannot find some sort of comeback material in these next few moments. As for JLINGZ, you have to take your hats off to them. They've really come at Chiefs here. There's not been any sort of slow start. There's not sort of been any anxiety about their performance. Instead, they've come in all guns blazing, confident. They believe they can make the World Championships.
And that in itself has to be a compliment to the Chiefs, that JLINGZ are taking this one very seriously, recognizing how good the Chiefs are. If they get firing, they could be a real handful. And as we say that, they close the gap to within 6. They got JLINGZ 4 dead for a moment. Perhaps there's something there in this Slayer.
And I think that does say just how far ANZ's come as a region. I mean, I remember European teams being there once upon a time where they just weren't respected by other regions, but you heard what Respectful said over on the couch. He said, look, if Chiefs get hot, they could take a game or two, they could maybe even take the series, who knows? And if there's that respect that's starting to be throughout the players, then certainly Chiefs will be at least happy they've come and performed in a way to gain the respect of their peers. But I'll tell you what, they would love to at least get a map here, get that belief, maybe start to put a little seed of doubt in the mind of JLINGZ. Because I will tell you, if JLINGZ drop a game here, their mentals are going to go all over the place. That is not going to be where they want to be. They want a comfortable 3-0. They want to just walk on through to the World Championships. But Chiefs don't want to make it that easy for them.
I've seen people on Twitter talking about the construction noises in the background, the sounds of articulated vehicles reversing. It's actually not forklifts at all. I can tell you that. It's just when I step backwards, I start making those sounds. But one team not taking step backwards is JLINGZ at the moment. They're full throttle in the face of the Chiefs, and they've got a 10-kill advantage to show for it.
Nice double for Quad. Still pushing in. Oh, big grenade as well that comes through. 12 kills at the moment for Quadius. 8 shared between Morga and Flux and 7 for Septic. Quad has been that main slayer for this team. It's not often where I would have put him when you look at this JLINGZ roster and I look at some of the other players, but he's really stepped up to that role and performed well. And if he carries on with this success, if they were to make it to the Halo World Championships tomorrow, I think he could be a big factor for their chances.
Always instrumental in anything good for the team. Madsy though, soaring into Arcade. Septic finally gets the job done. Double kill for him. But it has been traded out in a 2v2 split. 10 kills remain the difference between the two teams. Quad slides over towards Cafe, faced with a couple of members and slowing down for a moment, waiting for the cavalry to arrive, and it's come. Flux will get one, make it 2, and he's beaten down the Chiefs in the game and indeed the series.
And fair enough to Flux. I think he's performed really well this tournament as well. I've made a few jokes about his name. I'm sorry, Jimbo. He wasn't happy about it, but Flux comes onto this roster, I think, with a lot of expectations.
Jimbo's a sensitive man.
Jimbo, he is, right? But quite rightly, you know, I always respect what Jim has to say, and I'm glad he comes and approaches me, and I can confide in Jim.
Yeah.
He's a trustworthy man.
He's a friendly man.
I've known him for many a year.
He's a teddy bear. We do love our Jim. Our other European boys performing admirably here against the Chiefs. 7 kills remaining. Rockets about to pop up, and Septic walks on down, picks them up completely uncontested.
Crazy, really, that there was no one there to even look at him, even call him out at this point. Septic gets the freest kill of his life, and it's going to be 2, you'd imagine. It's a slight whiff, but we'll close it out, we'll finish it up. 46 kills now, only 4 remaining for JLINGZ. The Chiefs look like they are just going to roll over, kind of show their belly a little bit in this second game. But there is still plenty of games to come. It is a best of 5, and we have already seen JLINGZ go 2-0 up against a team before and almost throw it away.
Will we see a similar story play out? Can the Chiefs bounce back? The answer is probably no, with what we've seen. The evidence on display here. Slays in a 1v1, the Stalker Rifle is doing the damage, it hits hard, and it stays fast. Slays gets eliminated, beats down to no shields, the Cafe also. The melee does not come through, but eventually the kill will be secured, and JLINGZ go 2 to the good.
2 to the good, a very confident performance, a very impressive one. As I think those 4 gentlemen, well, 5 gentlemen on your screen, starting to believe that that Halo World Championship position in pools has their name on it. One more map and they will be there. They will secure what they set out to do today. They may have looked at the 8 teams in this bracket and said, well, we hope we don't come up against X, Y, or Z. In the end, they did the main job in beating Space Station. That was always going to be their most difficult task early on. But now it's about rounding out this performance and making sure you double down, you get a 3-0 here, so you can be so confident going into tomorrow.
Yeah, I think the SSG series was massive because it meant they avoided some of the heavy hitters that would drop down.
Well, they would have been playing complexity otherwise, right?
Which is a totally different narrative for them, but they find themselves up against the Chiefs who, let's face it, when you look at all the talent that's in this pool play, or in this play-in, excuse me, they're not a team that you can be worried about. They're on a similar level, if not below, JLINGZ, and it's a team that they would have liked to play against. So I think the hard work was done, the hard yards were put in against SSG in that Game 5. But as for JLINGZ now, 2 games to the good, 1 away from locking in that World Championship qualification. And the Chiefs are 1 game away from seeing us all at the bar on Sunday.
And I do think that Chiefs, you know, the year they've had, you've got to take your hats off to them. Like, they've been consistently qualifying for the majors. They've been turning up. They've had a smile on their face every single time as well. And as you say, always there at the after party on a Sunday. They are the life of the party at times. It will be a sad end to that story if they go out with a whimper here at a 3-0, but at the same time, you've got to respect what JLINGZ are doing in the game. Like, JLINGZ are performing in a way that I don't think any teams would really want to be facing them in the way they're playing it right now. Complexity, I probably think, would be struggling against JLINGZ as well, with the way that they are just coming at this game. But I think it's the mentality. When JLINGZ are playing in these games at the moment, they are confident, they have belief. Chiefs need to find a way to take that belief away from them.
One more for JLINGZ then. And for the Chiefs, can they make this more difficult? Can they make a fist of it here in the 11th hour? It's all to do, but it's still all to play for. Flux and Septic, they go down in the opening exchanges, and the Chiefs have a slight advantage here if they can seize the map, get control. Madsy gets one more, camouflage secured, and all of a sudden this is a great start for the Chiefs.
It's ball rather than shock rifle, but it's miscommunication as two players go for it, and unfortunately it means the Berserk gets spotted out. Grenades are now going to be hurtled towards him. Just about stays alive. Will try and just edge away, but unfortunately has run out of camo now, but thankfully a teammate there just to be the bait. Ensure they can get that initial damage. Somehow Berserk still alive, finally does get shot down. But the Chiefs, a better start here in game number 3.
And with the Chiefs down 2 in the series, are they a little bit downbeat? Is the wind out of their sails? What's the communication like? Let's have an Astro listen in.
Hey, coach. Stop here. Watch out, you guys. Watch out, ready?
See as well, see.
Make sure go. Going glass. Behind him. All guys, one shot. Dead.
Nice words.
Two, last two C. I'm leaving. Last two C. Make it back. Hold along. Go. Try and grab with the ball.
Last two there, go get to me.
Put him in.
Oh, you're on your own, Angus, you're gonna play.
Try to get Angus.
Nado, one shot.
Give me 3 in a second.
Two.
Weak Angus.
Yeah, 2, bro.
Coming, Luke. I'm coming, I'm flying.
Come. Here, Dry. One shot. Nice.
All guys weak. Come in.
Watch out. Up there.
Watch your tail, one as well. Watch your tail low, watch your back tail low.
I'll have to go around there, bud.
Camera.
Come on. Tell one.
Alright, Angus, hold that. Can't see, come on. In the bed here.
Triple stack, there's a
Triple.
Glass.
Pushing glass, hang on.
Top goal. Put him down, weak spot.
Watch out.
Look at glass, right?
Yeah.
Come
Come out, put him in.
Watch out, go stairs, Brian, no plus.
Back silo as well.
You lost, man, you lost.
Ball
The ball. Trying to go under plus bar.
Double stack. Let's see fly right now.
With me tower. You guys with me?
I'll be up 5
Yeah, we are.
I'm getting shocked, bro. I'm getting shocked.
Battery sniping. Pushes. Nice.
They played it.
You can have repulsive back here. Yeah, he's got repulsive back here.
Bridge with camera. Tell with camera. Tower shot. Get a shot for C. On his coast.
Can't see him.
There, guys.
Tell me. Where's Yali?
I got one.
Top tower, guys. Top tower, weak spot.
I've got to see back for it.
I'm not ball, yeah, bro. Is like bottom middle?
I think he's fucking.
Top goal.
Watch out, what are we?
Yeah, wait. Bottom go stairs. With a shot. Bottom go stairs with a shot.
Watching each one, I'm watching each one, me.
Watch out, me.
I think. Mid, I'm in.
One shot nade.
I see him, bro. Dead.
Nice.
I can get ball. Hey, he's got Turban, bro. Turban.
Turbine, he'll die.
Tough goal right now.
Watch the turbine, anyone.
Communication still on point. It doesn't sound like they're out of this one. Still applying themselves. Still talking to one another. Small talk is very important. And we're hearing it. But can they start to see some reward for it? Because right now the score currently sits at 45-17. JLINGZ for large portions of this have been in the driver's seat.
You feel like there just needs to be that one hype moment for Chiefs to get them energetic once more, like a big triple kill or something, just to inject some belief back into this side.
Eagle team halfway.
Otherwise, this is going to very quickly turn into a situation where JLINGZ get the ball once more and power weapons in their hands, and Chiefs just start to fall behind too much. JLINGZ are not a team who will throw away a commanding lead, so you've got to try and stay close.
And I'm watching plays be made by Quadios in goal pipes, faced with 2 members of the Chiefs. Two people facing, they use a repulsor on him as well. He still manages to get 1 kill and escape with his life and his shock rifle, and kill 1 more player on top of that with the shock rifle. He's really going to work here, and the Chiefs, try as they might, have been unable to shut down the big game players. And it's been very much to their detriment. Madsy with the shock rifle, can he find the face? No, he can't. But Quadios can find all 4 to his dome.
I don't think JLINGZ will be able to play with this much freedom against some of the teams when they do get into the World Championships, or sorry, if they do. There could still be a comeback. But they really are able to press their advantages at the moment. The way they marauder around the map with absolute confidence. They don't seem to fear any engagement. They're happy to take 1v1s. They're happy to take 1v2s at times, it would seem. As for Chiefs, they haven't really been able to get that setup at the moment with the ball. They had that early start and got some really important kills and picked up 15 seconds or so, but since then have not been able to get that ball anywhere remotely near a setup.
Speaking of that setup, Morga's got his hands on ball in blue. Teammates set up around him. The Chiefs have come. They've picked up 2. But will Morgan be able to milk every last second out of this ball? He's opted to play it this time, and that's good from him. Safety, it's experience, it's veteranship. The play has come. Still giving the Chiefs the respect that they deserve.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. An element of respect there, because I feel like if you disrespect the other team to a point, you probably hold on to the ball there and try and do something dumb. You try and show off. This is business for JLINGZ. It's important that they will secure their spot in the World Championships. They can't afford to just mess around here in the final moments of these games. Quad gets big kill. Will follow up, make it 2. Now for Chiefs, it's just desperately trying to cling on to this round and hope that no ball is gathered.
The ball has been gathered by Morgan. He's clinged onto it. 100 points, round 1 of this oddball game goes to JLINGZ, and they're just 1 round away from the World Championships. And what a story that would be.
I think JLINGZ will be very chuffed. It's exactly what they would have set out to do. There was maybe some eyebrows raised about who it would be getting that kind of 4th spot. I think 3 teams were likely to get there, those being Fnatic, Complexity, Ascend. There's always that question mark. Is it going to be JLINGZ? Is it going to be Space Station? Will we get an outsider like Chiefs managed to upset and shock the world? And unfortunately, at the moment, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But again, at the start of this round, Chiefs managed to get all 4 dead. They managed to get the ball, and they actually have a setup. Now, what can you do with it?
The Chiefs seem to have superior starting strategies, particularly on this map. It's the 2nd round in a row in which they have got the better of the early engagements, but what's happened is they haven't been able to build upon it. They've got more points now than they have for the entirety of round 1, so that's a success so far. They have lost a member in the process, and Quadios has scooped up the ball and thrown it to Morgan. He's down in bottom blue tunnel and rotating accordingly. Ball will not have the opportunity to play though. This is much better, but Septic's got his hands in the camouflage. We've already seen how instrumental that power-up can be. He goes down though. This is better. 3 dead for JLINGZ. Chiefs have the ball very shortly if they can get it out of Morgan. They have. And now they have it in prime position to have that setup you spoke about.
They can get it out of Morgan.
Get it out of
Where did he have it?
He has it up under his t-shirt.
Ah, okay, yeah. Classic.
Yeah.
I know what these JLINGZ boys are like. Taking as much away from Jesse Lingard as they can. 40-5 though, Chiefs, they're leading. JLINGZ need to answer this, because otherwise Chiefs are slowly but surely going to escape with this round if they're not careful. The push will come through pipes. Morga engages but backs off. Chiefs are defending well. There is going to be a slight player advantage for JLINGZ. Can they make it count? 2 versus 2. Goes down. Now it's just Flux. And Chiefs hold on again. This is so much better. This is what we were hoping to see right from the get-go from Chiefs.
More of this, please. Add this to your basket and check out as quick as you can. And JLINGZ are not close enough to have an influence right now. Maybe they're playing for the camouflage instead and looking to get tricksy with it. Beast continues to hold the ball. The Chiefs continue to have the numbers advantage until this very moment. Flux has got his hands on that camouflage. Beast throws it out. He knows the push is coming, but he's thrown it straight into the hands of Morgan, and all 4 go down for the Chiefs.
And now this is really going to be a defining moment here for the Chiefs. How do they respond to losing all 4 players and losing control of the map? Can they break JLINGZ? Because JLINGZ would have had the time to set up accordingly. It is going to be a blue setup that they're going to acquire here, which means there are several angles that are difficult to cover, but if you do watch the right places, it's certainly achievable to gain an insane amount of time if you do it right, especially when Septic's getting double kills like that. Quad more than happy to take that fight as well. That's confidence for you.
And I worried for a moment when I seen Flux miss a couple of those shock rifle shots that would be considered bread and water. But it didn't matter. Septic was on hand to pick up 2. And Quadios, when he's hitting shots the way he is not missing today. And they've already completely eaten away. Got him within 20 points now of the Chiefs after the Chiefs got to that 72-point lead. Two go down once more. And Morgan's got the ball in his hands, fighting in pipes. Quadios comes out on top. How often have we said that today?
This is worrying for Chiefs because it was just one setup from JLINGZ that secured them 50. They weren't able to do much with the second setup, so as Chief players, you know you can't allow JLINGZ to do it once more. You can't allow them to get that ball over towards blue or set up properly in pipes. I fear that's what's going to happen now. Flux in a position to watch whatever angle he wants. As two players from Chiefs have fallen, JLINGZ have got all four up. This could be the beginning of the end if you're not careful with your Chiefs.
Shock rifle for Quadios now. JLINGZ very close to taking the lead. They have dropped the ball for a moment. Slays top control, gets back down, and Quadios tries to stay alive. Or two on those batteries. All for nothing, all in vain. Camouflage. Instrumental and surgical here from Madzi. And perhaps there's an opportunity now. Beast goes down from a frag grenade though. And will that make that opportunity of scoring points a little bit more difficult now than perhaps it would have been? Slays gets one, but Quadios answers right back. Madzi with the camouflage, still putting it to work. 2v2 on the map, ball down. Madzi has finally decided to put his hands on it and try put some breathing room between the two teams, but he's getting tagged up.
Come on, Chiefs. I love JLINGZ more than any other man, but Chiefs, you just want them to get a victory. You just want them to get back into this series, to really give it a go. Such good lads, and they've been playing so well in this round. They've managed to get 86 on the board. But just very similar to King of the Hill when they were so close to getting that point on the board and then JLINGZ whisked it away. Is it going to be very similar here in round 2 of ball? 10 more seconds for Chiefs to put one on the board.
Quadios is forced to back down here. They only need 5 to the Chiefs to tie up this oddball game. Nobody seems to be in position to secure it and to drop the ball, and the Chiefs are going to answer back. We're 1-1 here.
Now, does that put any sort of seed of doubt in JLINGZ's mind? Is that enough to crack the armor of JLINGZ, and can Chiefs take advantage of this? Or are JLINGZ just going to be a little bit annoyed? Have they poked the bear now, Chiefs, where JLINGZ are just going to come out strong and try and pummel them into the ground? This is going to be a very interesting round indeed.
Did JLINGZ take their eye off the ball? And all of a sudden, I'm starting to hear the Chiefs get a little bit louder, a little bit more belief flowing through their veins. I haven't heard them get that loud all weekend, all Thursday long.
It's exactly what we touched upon. You just need that belief sometimes to spark you into an energetic mood where callouts are going to mean more. You're going to get more confident in your fights as well because you genuinely believe you have a chance. They were a little bit dejected when we went into the listening. There was a few, oh, he's over there. But now it's, he's over there, he's over here. It's far more awake now, are the Chiefs. Can they use it to their advantage and try and take a map here off JLINGZ?
They're really starting to pick up the intensity. Can JLINGZ match it? Because they've taken their eye off the ball. We've heard how the Chiefs have been communicating, but perhaps it's time to listen to JLINGZ. Let's have an Astro listen in.
C-part weak. Do that. Play now. Two equals.
Get bread, boys.
Yep. Never grapple, we can. Get kill guys first.
Middle, Madzi. Two more middle, guys. And up here. You're jumping on turbo.
Little bang. Long, one shot.
Nice. Two done.
Top 8, push me.
One shot.
One shot. Chop on me. Let's get turbo, one shot.
Watching it. Needing it. Let's play tower. I'm shooting him off here.
One red here.
That one's dead.
I'm long.
Yeah, I've got your help. He's pushing you.
One tower weak. One tower, so we get.
Never mind.
Alright, I'm turbo,
One shot, turbo.
Free dead. Let's go.
Hold on.
Beat camo.
Alright, yeah, I can grapple him all.
Look at the camo.
Just bait it.
Yeah. You go for now, yeah.
Should I keep this red?
Watch on it.
Stroll.
Absolute on it.
Trip stacks.
Didn't trade.
Gary,
Bomb.
Play.
Where going?
Stairs, sorry.
Play left.
Turbine.
Yeah.
Can't help you.
It's one C.
Wow, that
On ball, one shot. I got kill, guys. Balage fam. Weak. Madzi. He's in.
Ball mine now, ball mine.
Alright, ball man.
Madzi's one shot dead.
Camo's mid bridge. Green.
Yeah, okay.
Look at bomb A as well.
Come on, me. Bomb tower. I'm trying to live.
I have grapple by the way.
Cool, calm, collected, composed communications from JLINGZ. And we spoke to them after that miserable loss that they had, and they said, we had that one. We made the mistakes. They knew that they were right there. Are they about to make a very similar error here against the Chiefs? Or can they clutch up? Because Berserk has the ball in his hands and they're starting to eat away at that lead.
Well, one of the biggest mistakes JLINGZ made in that series against Fnatic, especially in Oddball, was just not picking up the ball, not doing the objective, despite outslaying Fnatic at times. And you could argue something very similar happening at the moment in this round. JLINGZ have had the slays, they've had the opportunities, but haven't necessarily got the ball into the right areas. It's not always easy to do, and you've got to commend Chiefs for being able to disrupt JLINGZ setups very effectively so far in this round. But now JLINGZ do have the ball. Slay's trying to have a big old fight here and will get the assist just to try and now get aggressive on this ball. You've got to steal this away from JLINGZ, get that ball into a setup and give yourself a real chance of taking this map.
At some point, it just comes down to a player taking responsibility of playing that objective. And maybe that falls upon the coach's role. He can see all 4 POVs. He can see who's the closest and in the best position to play the objective. Maybe that communication has to come from there.
And I think that Beast recognized, like, the slays weren't really going in his favor. He started playing the objective far more in round number 2, and he's doing exactly the same here in round number 3. He's about to take up to 100 points of time here across the 3 rounds, excuse me. And really has been the effective objective player. But now the Chiefs around him need to be making sure they're getting those slays. As I say that, Beast plays the ball and gets the kill. But unfortunately, it plays right into the hands of JLINGZ.
And almost everybody on JLINGZ currently going positive in this game. But we're all tied up almost neck and neck in this 3rd and final round as well. 3 go down for the Chiefs. Beast last man standing. He is on double stack right beside the ball carrier. The camouflage player in Quadios will get the job done. Can he stay alive with this shock rifle? Tries to grapple the ball, has to pull out in the end, not able to though. And 2 go down for JLINGZ in some nervy moments possibly.
It is a little bit nervy. JLINGZ, I think they'll definitely be learning throughout this series and the Fnatic series. They need to be more clinical. They need to be getting the job done when they have those opportunities. But Chiefs are now going to take the lead for the first time in this series. And they have a real opportunity at taking a map, and that would do wonders for their belief in this series and also do wonders at trying to make JLINGZ suddenly have a big old worry in the back of their minds.
JLINGZ just do not capitalize when they're in the ascendancy in these objective game types. They do not press home their advantages, and against some of the best teams in the world, you can be damn sure they will not give you the opportunities twice. You have to be clinical. And Quadios here, he will go down. 3 dead for JLINGZ. And it's the Chiefs starting to find the rhythm, starting to hit those shots, and they're ahead here.
Maybe a little bit of anxiety kicking in here for JLINGZ, knowing they are so close to the World Championships. And they start to worry that little bit more as Chiefs have been very much pressing their advantages far better. And individually, Chiefs have stepped up in rounds 2 and 3, and we can hear it. The communication across the room, it's got so much louder. There's so much more belief in the squad. Unfortunately, if Fadzi goes down, it would be 4, but he wins that engagement, tries to get more. But Septic, during that scuffle, has been able to just sneak on in and grab that ball. Septic, who has so much experience as a player, competed for so many years. Maybe it's his veteranship that they require here just to get over the final hurdle.
Septic with so much experience and so many kills in this game. Currently sitting on 31 with 13 assists and 21 deaths. And he has decided enough is enough. I'll put my hands on the ball if need be. Because up until this point, it's been Morgan who's put in the most work, and Flux behind him with almost half of the ball time. But Chiefs have their hands on the ball once more, and they've taken the lead.
Everyone has to take responsibility when it comes to objective. You cannot rely on one person to do it all. As we say that, Madzi has the ball for Chiefs, and he's got it in a very dangerous area. It's down an elevator, he's got support, but Flux gets the entry. Septic follows up, Chiefs down to just 2. This is a brilliant push from JLINGZ and could be the last and final push they required. If it's all 4 dead, it's going to be tough for Chiefs to get back into things.
Critical kills falling in favor of JLINGZ here, as they hit the 80-point threshold. They're almost there. They're closing the gap once more on the Chiefs, but the next mistake here will pay dividends for the team who can capitalize on it. 3 dead for the Chiefs, and it's JLINGZ who have just taken the lead. And with 8 seconds remaining, nobody going to be on point for the Chiefs to stop this ball from scoring even more points. And it's JLINGZ that are going to be going to the World Championship.
An incredible performance in the end. A little bit worrying at times, but I wonder how much that was down to just a little bit of anxiety of how close they were to the World Championships. In the end, it's a very effective 3-0 sweep onto the Chiefs. And unfortunately, that will be the end of the Chiefs' run and the end of the Chiefs' chances of getting to the World Championships down in the elimination bracket. and we do have to give them the utmost of respect for how they've performed throughout this season, but unfortunately that run comes to an end, and we won't see them at the World Championships tomorrow. But as for JLINGZ, exactly the opposite story. Their season started really low. I remember back in Rally, they didn't even win a map in pools. They were really struggling, then they made changes, and they've got better and better and better, more respect, not just from their peers in Europe, but also in North America, and now they find themselves a part of the World Championships.
And it's very important to note as well that they've made mistakes today. They have to go back to the hotel and really go through the VOD and iron out some of these mistakes they made, because the games aren't going to get easier tomorrow. They're playing against some of the best teams in the world. They're going into some of the most difficult groups in this World Championship. They have some things to work on. They have to tighten the ship.
Yeah, and the iron's not great in the hotel either,
No,
I have to
it's
say.
bad,
I was there for minutes on end, and it just wasn't really doing... You can see, it's just not great. So they are going to have to make some changes. I think they know that, but at the end of the day, the job was get into the World Championships. They have completed that. It's a 3-0, so there is nothing we can take away from them. They looked incredible in games 1 and 2, just a little bit sloppy in game number 3. They don't have to worry about Bazaar CTF or Slayer Catalyst in the end. JLINGZ, they got their prize that they were hunting for today, and I'm sure they are going to be over the moon. But now it's time to buckle up. It's time to focus. Get the hard work in tonight. Do as much prep as you can, as much research as you can about the teams you're going to be facing. It's going to be either Pool A or Pool B where they end up, and we know that both of those pools are not easy whatsoever.